a sub 10,000 rupee price point and a 48 megapixel camera. These two rarely go along, but they do in the case of the Moto E7 Plus. This smartphone is affordable, it looks really good and has got specifications that do seem very interesting for the price. But there are a few shortcomings that could make you think twice about this device. Hi, I'm Aditya, you're watching Gadgets 360 and this is the full review of the Moto E7 Plus. The design of the Moto E7 Plus looks very similar to that of the Moto G9. Motorola has flattened the sides on the E7 Plus and the frame curves gently towards the back. This helps grip the phone quite well. You get a 6.5-inch display with a dewdrop notch at the top for the selfie camera, which sits right below the thin earpiece. The display has very good viewing angles and gets bright when outdoors. I also found face recognition as well as the fingerprint scanner to be very quick to unlock the Moto E7 Plus. One thing that stands out on the spec sheet is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 460 SoC. Motorola has only launched the Moto E7 Plus in India in one configuration. You get 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. I did not notice any slowdowns while using the Moto E7 Plus for a week. With 4GB of RAM, multitasking wasn't an issue and I could switch between multiple apps very easily. Gaming performance on the Moto E7 Plus is decent and I could play Call of Duty at medium graphics with the frame rate set to high without any issues. Casual games run fine and the device does not get warm while playing titles such as Among Us. On the software side of things, I like the MyUX skin that Motorola ships on top of Android 10, as there are only very few minor additions on top of stock Android. Motorola has kept pre-installed bloatware to a minimum, and you only get Facebook installed along with a few other apps from Google. Gesture-based navigation is enabled by default, and you also get Moto Actions that let you interact with the smartphone using gestures. Battery life is very good on the Moto E7 Plus. With my usage, I did get about a day and a half worth of use before needing to plug it in to charge. Which reminds me, the lack of the USB Type-C port is disappointing, but Motorola isn't the only one here. You see, Xiaomi too has gone back to the micro USB port on the Redmi 9, and that could be inconvenient for a few people. If your existing smartphone has a micro USB port, you should be fine. But if you are used to the convenience of the USB Type-C port, then this is not going to be convenient. So would you pick up a phone right now with a micro USB port? Let me know that in the comments down below. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel and click on that bell icon so that you are notified when we upload a new video. You get a 10-watt charger bundled with the Moto E7 Plus, and it is relatively slow. It charged the phone to 22% in 30 minutes and 43% in an hour. Charging it completely takes over 2 hours. There is no relief to this since fast charging isn't supported. On the imaging front, you get a dual camera setup on the Moto E7 Plus featuring a 48 megapixel primary camera and an f1.7 aperture coupled with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Daylight photos turned out well and had good detail with adequate sharpness. With close-up subjects, it produced sharp results while adding a soft blur to the background. Portrait mode puts the depth camera to use, but I noticed that the Moto E7 Plus captures better portraits of people and pets than objects. It managed good edge detection and you do get the option to set the level of blur before taking a picture. And before we check the low light camera performance, I have to add that the low light camera performance is a little average, but the night mode is really good. And this isn't the only smartphone I've seen it on. The Moto G9 too clicked brilliant photos using the night mode. Have a look. Low light camera performance was average and output looked smoothened. Enabling night mode changes the output drastically, delivering much brighter and sharper photos. For selfies, this phone has an 8 megapixel sensor with an f2.2 aperture. Selfies taken during the day are good, and there is portrait mode as well, which lets you set the level of blur. The phone could not detect faces for selfie portraits with a mask on. Low light selfies were average in comparison. Video recording on the Moto E7 Plus is limited to 1080p for the primary as well as the selfie shooter. Footage was good enough for a low-cost phone, but it wasn't stabilized. After using the Moto E7 Plus for a few days, I can say that it is a very good smartphone for the price. The performance it offers is adequate and should keep many budget phone buyers happy. Its long battery life helps you go on throughout the day without worrying about charging. However, the micro USB port is the fly in the ointment here. Camera output is good, and while this phone only has 2 cameras, it delivers in terms of performance. All in all, if you're looking for a good all-rounder on a budget, the Moto E7 Plus is the one to go for. And that was my full review of the Moto E7 Plus. Now what do you think about the smartphone? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to Gadgets360.com.